Welcome.
Thank
How are
you.
you?
I'm fine. And hi to everyone looking at us.
Thank you very much, Stefan, for coming. My dear friends, this is another Swedish university, and I have pleasure in welcoming Stefan Haglund from Linnaeus University, who will be presenting on computer science and information system. Over to you, Stefan.
Sure. I want to do actually a more general presentation, but we are a broad university, so I will talk a little bit of everything. So first of all, my name is Stefan Haglund. I work as a communication strategist for Linnaeus University. So I will build up this presentation with giving a little brief introduction about Sweden, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of you doesn't know so much about Sweden even. Though due to that it's a small country, obviously, in Europe. Then I will go further with a little bit about Linnaeus University, and then I will talk a little bit more about how it is to study at Linnaeus University and what we offer. And then obviously we will have this question sessions by the end. So I want to start with saying a little things about Sweden generally. So Sweden as a country is a small country up in the north of Europe. Population is obviously very different from India when it comes to numbers. So in Sweden we are 10 million people, which is like 1/3 or half of Delhi, obviously. So it's a huge difference. The capital is Stockholm, and it's up in the north. Sweden as a country are a top country when it comes to terms of innovation, safety, democracy, human rights, environmental friendly, and gender equality. So if you look at Sweden as a country, you will see that we are always very top ranked when it comes to these kind of values that nowadays stands a bit for a modern society. That means also that Sweden is a little bit expensive to live in. But on the other hand, as I said, life quality, welfare system, education system, everything is very, very high standard. And if you are living in Sweden, this kind of rights are free. Companies that you probably have heard of that are Swedish is IKEA, H&M, Ericsson, Assa Abloy is partly Swedish, Volvo, Spotify, Skype. All these kind of companies, inventions are Swedish. So talking a little bit about computer science, you would probably also know about games as Candy Crush or Minecraft, games that are produced by Swedish companies. So if you want to learn more about Sweden in general, you can look at studyInSweden.se, which is like the main portal for how to apply and how it is to live and study in Sweden. I'm not going to go through this, but temperature in Sweden is obviously one thing that people ask a lot about, and the climate in generally. We have 4 distinct seasons, and the climate can differ rather much. So down to -20 degrees in the winter and up to +30 in the summer. We have a Swedish saying, though, that there is no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. So basically, in Sweden, it's very different because even though it can be cold indoor in library, university buildings, the dorms that you would be living in, it's always 20 degrees. So you would never freeze, and you would always have high living standard. Moving further a bit, and telling a bit more about Linnaeus University. So we are one of the younger universities when it comes to in Sweden. We were established in 2010 as Linnaeus University. Before that, we were Växjö University and University of Kalmar. So we became a merger in 2010, and then we also became the 6th largest university in Sweden. Governmental university, most of the students are publicly funded. We usually say when counting heads that we nowadays have about 32,000 students. 15,000 of them study full-time. Employees, 2,000 approximately. And as I said, this makes us the 6th largest university in Sweden. We are divided into a lot of different faculties, and we are a very broad university. So not only having computer science, information systems, we have a little bit of everything basically. So later on, I will tell you a little bit more about programs, and then you will see that we have about 50 different programs, 40 master programs and 10 bachelor programs taught in English. In Swedish, we have a lot more programs also, but then you obviously need to know Swedish in order to study them. This is a picture also of our Vice Chancellor. His name is Peter Aronsson, and he's a professor in history. At the university, we try to say that everything is possible, and we are a university that stand beside you and help you with rather much of your future career, and if you want to create your own company. We are also a university where you have a lot of alternatives. As I said, we offer a little bit of everything, and there is also several courses which you could study, which could be as a complementary studies for your program. We have about 2,000 international students out of the 15,000 I described, divided between 2 cities, which I will show you within soon. Växjö being the bit more the bigger campus. That's where you have most of the international students. So out of these 2,000 international students, I would say that 70% study in Växjö campus. So situated, we have 2 campuses, Växjö and Kalmar, south of Sweden. That's good because that means that it's not as cold as I described before in the winter. It's a very sustainable green area where focus is a lot of sustainability. You have a lot of forest and wood technology engineering in the area, and also IKEA, the worldwide multinational company, which now started their first furniture shop in Hyderabad in India, have their head office. So it's just 50 kilometers south of Växjö, and that also means that there is a lot of collaboration between IKEA and Linnaeus University. But if you look at this map, you see here, first of all, where in Europe we are situated. We are a rather big country when it comes to area, but very sparsely populated. Closest international airport, actually, if traveling to the south of Sweden, would be Copenhagen in Denmark. Växjö, small city, and as I said, this is where we have our biggest campus, a bit of US-style campus solution, meaning all the university buildings in one spot, and then about 5,000 students just living on campus. This is where about 35 of our 50 master programs at Linnaeus University taught in English are given. So that means that most of you would be living in Växjö if coming to Linnaeus University. Small city then, as I said, also about 90,000 inhabitants in Växjö, and that means that you have a lot of influence from the university within the city, because it's about over 10,000 students in the campus. So the city as such is also called the greenest city of Europe, and that is basically based on that it's a lot of forest, parks, lakes within the city, and very clean, but also the city as such is focused a lot on sustainability. For example, all the buses are run by biogas. You have a long distance heating system within the city center based on forest industry waste and heat up the full city. So a lot of things are considered how to make things more sustainable, and that means also that a lot of research on the university is conducted upon sustainability. Kalmar, also a very small city, also very heavily influenced by our university. It's just next to the Baltic Sea, and that means that we have, for example, a lot of research going on around biology. We also have a maritime academy in Kalmar. In Kalmar, we used to have a bit of spread out university around the city, but from 2019, we have built totally new facilities. So everything is very new built, and will be at one spot just next to this picture you see here down in the guest harbor. A very nice environment. Kalmar as a city is a bit more as a tourist city with a lot of people traveling to the area in the summer. One thing I forgot to mention regarding Linnaeus University that could be good also to know about Växjö is that Växjö as such is like a small IT hub of Sweden. So we have the second most IT companies by population in Sweden. So for example, you have a lot of education companies that create education games, online accounting systems, and also in gaming industry. Roughly about 700 incoming international students each year when it comes to exchange students. And that, as I said before, makes it about 2,000 active international students. And then we also have a lot of partner universities, which means that as a student at Linnaeus University, it's possible to go abroad for a partner exchange study for one semester to some other country. Just a little bit about research and everything, just mentioning, because I know that a lot of you have the ambition to go further for research. There is a lot of money invested in research in Sweden generally. So being a university based on governmental money, we get a lot of money for research, and Sweden as a country are actually one of the countries spending most money in the world from governmental money on education and research. So most Swedish universities are rather research heavy compared to how it is in India. PhD studies is though a bit different, due to that it's like studying or you're employed by the university and do research, and that means that you paid salary for being that. As I mentioned, we have a strong collaboration with IKEA, and that means that we, for example, have a specific program in collaboration with them called the Master Program in Innovation through Business, Engineering and Design. It's about product development. I will speed up a little here. So when it comes to areas where we have programs, this is within the areas we offer something. So bachelor programs within business and economics, design, computer science, mathematics. And in master, you can see that we offer almost within all areas. We also, for business students, unfortunately, 3 years degrees are not accepted for further studies in Sweden if it's not an honors degree from India. And that means that general BBAs are not accepted for master studies. And that means that we also offer this kind of top-up years where you can study 1 year in Sweden and then go further to master level studies. So like a bridging year. We also offer like a summer academy. So it's a summer academy where you can come to Sweden during 5 weeks during the summer, mid-July to mid-August. You study a course of interest together with about 250 other international students. And then based on this, you can decide whether you want to come back to Sweden in the future. So why Linnaeus University? Well, as I pointed out before, Sweden as such has a very high quality of life. And being in a small city, it's very easy and good environment in order to make it possible for you to concentrate on your studies. So Växjö and Kalmar being very good cities to live in generally. You get easily around, very clean, you can go by bicycle everywhere, and you will have a very good facilities to study in and good facilities to live in. Sweden as a study country is a very informal teaching style, so it encourages you and stimulates your curiosity and creativity and critical thinking, because you are rather often kind of encouraged to ask questions to your teacher. You work in group assignments a lot, and that means that you learn as much in the discussions as you learn from your teachers, I would say. Facilities, as I mentioned, highly recommended from a lot of international students. Everything very new built. We have a very active student life buddy program with the friend family projects, student union, and student associations. And as I mentioned before, large community of international students. Creativity, innovation, sustainability, equality, and diversity are very strong Swedish values, which I strongly suggest you to dig into and read more about, and then you will truly understand that Sweden is a very good alternative to come to for your studies. Somebody asked me about the tuition fees. So for the most common tuition fees in Sweden for at Linnaeus University are in humanities, social science, law, business administration, and that would mean like 85,000 Swedish crowns for 1 year of studies, and that's like 8,500 euros. For technology, computer science, engineering, it would be like 130,000 Swedish crowns, and that's like 13,000 euros. Scholarships, yes, we offer. So every student that applied to Linnaeus University as priority 1, having this as the highest priority in Sweden, will get the chance of applying for a scholarship. Scholarship would cover 75% to 100%, and we award about 50 students each year with a scholarship. Approximately, we have about 500 applicants for these 50 scholarships. Entry requirements. So what we generally demand from an Indian student are a 4-year degree, bachelor degree, which will be the case for all engineering and most technology, science areas. Students with a 3 years degree, which is not honors degree, will not be accepted, unfortunately, and this is a national rule. If you want to learn more about this, look at the university admission page, which you can see in this link here. Cost of living approximately in Sweden, you could say that you need about like 830 euros a month in order to cover your living cost, and this is something you need to also present for the board of migration by the time that you are admitted and pay your tuition fees and everything. So you could say like a budget for a full year would be like 16,000 euros, I would say. 17,000 maybe. So how to apply? All applications should be done online through universityadmissions.se. Last date to apply, 15th of January, in order to be counted in time. Then you can support your application and pay your application fee before 1st of February. Notification of selection results will be given in the end of March. It is possible to do late applications after this, but in order to be given the chance to apply for scholarships, it has to be done in time. All applications online, meaning that you create your account, you upload your documents and everything through universityadmissions.se. Social media. So if you want to follow us at social media, you can obviously do so both on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and WeChat. On the YouTube channel, you can find a lot of small films, videos from the university, everything about how it is to study, to short student testimonials or presentation about the university, or how it is to live in the dorms at the university. Some useful links that you should look at. In Sweden, every application to any university is done through universityadmissions.se. If you want to know more general information about studies in Sweden, then you go through studyinsweden.se. If you want to look at our university, then you go to lnu.se. And if you have questions in general, you can always contact us through study@lnu.se or admission@lnu.se. So, please, questions. I see that some of you already have given me some questions, so I will see if I can answer them overall if I haven't already answered them. Somebody else? Sure. Yep.
To come back, look who it was. So
Sure.
just
I will do. Thank you. So we had somebody asking about PhD. So I want to mention that PhD in Sweden is very different from here in India. So it's a bit more rare, meaning that it's like an employment. You will get paid wage like 2,500 euros a month. So that means that we do not really admit students as PhD students. You know, like in India, it might be 20, 30 students at the same time admitted. Here in Sweden, it's 1, 2 students employed. So that means that you need to have a synopsis of what you want to do. It's like applying as a job as a professor. So it's very rare. So I have a question here. Overall cost, I already showed, as you saw. A general budget for Sweden yearly, I would say, is somewhere between 17,000 euros to 20,000 euros. And that means living cost, tuition fees are covered by that. Sometimes you can live for a little less than I showed before, but in the beginning, expect it to be a bit more expensive because you have maybe a more expensive accommodation and you have not learned the ways how to find the shortcuts. What are required documents for MS in IT or computer science? I would say that 4-year degree within computer science, and that also entitles you to an exception regarding English if you have a 4-year Bachelor of Science. So basically, that's everything you need. When it comes to grade point average, you can never say for Sweden that we ask for a certain level grade point average because it's always in a competition with who else is applying. So selection is based on it, but you cannot say a lowest demand. Let's see here. Somebody asked about admission criteria. Why can you use mainly for computer education rather than you are in the same course? Can please? Well, why should somebody come to Linnaeus University for computer science? Well, I can say like this, that as I mentioned before, Växjö, where our computer science department are situated, as a city, are kind of screaming for more educated people from computer science, especially programmers. Because, as I mentioned, it's a small IT hub, and that means that competition about people with programming skills are very tough. So the university has a very strong ambition to increase educated people within computer science, and we are putting a lot of resources into that specifically. For example, we just from this year got a 4-year degree Swedish program, civil engineer in computer science. We got the right to give this as a degree. And that means that the master programs will be put a lot of attention to now also to develop them and make them even more sharper. Let's see here. Do you permit part-time job while studying in university? So a little bit about the visa rules. Yes, you are allowed to work as much as you want being a student at Linnaeus University or in Sweden generally. But it's hard competition about the jobs. There is no hour said that you can work maximum. But as I said again, it's hard to find, and you still need to produce studies. If you don't produce studies, achieving credits, they will not extend your residence permit. After your completion of a degree, you will get a 6-month permission to stay in Sweden in order to find a job. If you find a job during the 6 months, you can stay for longer. So it's rather generous and good rules regarding that. Let's see here. What have we more? Harish, is there any Bachelor of Science Physics course in the university? Yes, we have some short courses in Bachelor of Physics, like a top-up year, for example. So you could study like 1 year of studies in physics and then go further to master level. But we don't have a full Bachelor of Science in Physics taught in English. Does Linnaeus University offer PhD in public health and its related subjects? Yes, we do. We offer a PhD in this, but as I said, it's a bit different. You don't apply for it as a student. You apply for it as searching for a job. So it's a rare position, and it's only when it's announced. Part-time job, as I said, it's okay, but it's hard to find. Can you work as lab assistant or assistant faculty as a part-time during the master in the university? In some cases, yes, more likely in the natural sciences, where we have this kind of positions, and this is due to that these programs actually have very few students on them, and that means that the students in natural sciences, like biology, chemistry, they are more involved in the PhD students' work. So they work as assistants rather often. So any other questions? Seems that everybody asks the same questions here. I see that the Bachelor of Science I have already answered. Do we offer any courses in IT networking? Yes. We have a social media and web technology program. We have a software technology program, and we have an information systems program. Applications for Bachelor of Science physics courses, everything is done through universityadmissions.sc. So, do you offer any biotechnology? We offer bioenergy technology. So we have a sustainable energy processes and systems program where you can study if you have a biotechnology background. We also have a aquatic ecology, and we have evolutionary of fishes. Besides this, as I said, if you go to lnu.sc, you can read more about all the programs we offer, and you will see that there is plenty of opportunities. And coming to Sweden generally is something that will be a life changer, I would say, because the values that basically drives modernity are very strong in Sweden as such. So being on the edge, learning a lot about that would be a good way to sharpen your future career.
Thank you, Stephen. I think it's been an excellent presentation, and you have taken most of the questions. You have answered it absolutely very briefly, and it really gets the message. All the questions have been answered. So now it's time for you to give us the two names whom you thought were asked you the best questions.
Sure, I would say Param Sangha and Harish Bodu.
Okay, so
sorry about the pronunciation here from my Swedish.
No. Actually, why I was laughing was Param and Harish Bodu in the last session also. They were selling to make a call now. But anyway, congratulations to them. And Stefan, I'll now take you out. Thank you very much for participating. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. I hope to hear something from you. Bye-bye.
Bye.